Ladies and gentlemen, the final screen before we talk about touch screen. So the final normal screen, you could say, and that is LCD, which stands for Liquid Crystal Display, and it's a flat screen. This is what you normally use on a computer. It's modern technology. Now, the pixels are not the light source in this case, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But what you need to know to start off with is that there are pixels. The pixels are lined up in a matrix, so like in a pattern. And there is something called a backlight. So let's actually now look at how it all works. So we're going to zoom in, and as per normal, we've got red, green, blue, which is one pixel made up of 3 sub pixels, red, green and blue, like normal. Now, what we're going to do is split things up. So if we zoom in on the pixel, so imagine we just zoomed in with a magnifying glass. We've got the backlight, which is what you see there. We then got the 3 color filters, red, green and blue. And we then got the polarizers, and these are key. So as light leaves the backlight, so you can see it right now, the arrows from the backlight, what happens is the following. It travels on different planes, the light, horizontal and vertical. However, let's look at the first polarizer. Can you see how it's got horizontal grills? These horizontal grills will only allow horizontal light to travel through. There you go. Can you see how the vertical stopped, but it's allowing horizontal to go through? And that will reach the red, green and blue color filters. There is, however, another polarizer, and this will only allow vertical light to go through. Now, as we've got the horizontal here, that cuts out the vertical. As we've got a polarizer here, which is for vertical, that cuts out the horizontal. No light is at the moment going towards our color filter because there's no horizontal, there's no vertical, there's nothing. The liquid crystals then come into play. If we zoom in on a liquid crystal, which is these, what we have is a transparent electrode on the front and back. And we also have etched glass on the front and back. So, this is a liquid crystal. It's got a transparent electrode on the front and back of it, and it's also got transparent glass on the front and back of it. Now, the liquid crystals, so imagine these are liquid crystals, what you see on your screen right now. They are literally, by nature, orientated, that means pointed in random directions. That is until the horizontal glass forces it and twists it into the pattern we want, and it organizes it. So it organizes our crystals. Electricity is passed through the liquid crystals, which then, so here's the electricity passing through, which then is aligned. So let's have a look at it. So let's start from the beginning again. You've got your backlight. It's going through the first polarizer. It then hits the liquid crystals. The liquid crystals are literally aligned. It then passes through the vertical polarizer. onto our screen. So let me go through that one more time. You've got your backlight. It then hits the horizontal filter. It allows horizontal light to go through. It gets twisted into a vertical position by the liquid crystals. Can you see how it twists from horizontal? It gets twisted by the liquid crystals into a vertical position. It then flows through the vertical polarizer and hits the color filters. However, by turning on the electrodes, the light no longer gets twisted, so it stops at the vertical polarizer. So when we use electrodes, when we're turned on, look what happens when it goes to the liquid crystal display. Look where it hits the crystals. So we're hitting the crystals now. Perfect. But when we turn on the electrodes, look what happens inside here. It doesn't twist it into vertical, keeps it horizontal, so it hits against the brick wall, more or less, and the light doesn't go through. What we can do is adjust the electricity that flows in each electrode, and we can control how much light reaches the color filters. We can control when the light reaches the color filters. And that basically controls what we see on our screen. We can increase the amount of power, which will increase the amount of color used. We could put a block in place to stop any color filter from coming through. So we're in full control. Now what happens is this. We know that red, green and blue makes up all the colours. If you had 0 red, 0 green, 0 blue colours coming through, that would be black. So right now there's 0 light going through, so that will display the colour black on our screen. $255 red, 255 green, 255 blue is the maximum you can get in terms of light going through for each filter. But to change the colour, you can change the amount of light for green, for example, coming through. The amount of electricity, the amount of electrodes can stop green from getting much. So it could be, instead of 255, it could be 10. That will change the colour on your screen. What your screen does, oh sorry, let me just go through other colour combinations. So that'll give you white. If it's 255, 255, 255, your screen will display white. Now look what happens when no light goes through the second one and the third one, but light only goes through red. Your screen will be red. Look what happens when a bit of light goes through the second filter. Orange. And it's the electrodes which control that. Now, final thing, the monitor adjusts each amount of electricity which goes through each crystal. And what happens is, one by one, row by row, 60 times per second, the monitor is scanning and adjusting that amount of electricity.